What is going on, guys? This is Synergy here, back at you again with another video. This time we're actually going to be doing a new tutorial, one that's specifically based around the game's global release. And I just want to say, for full disclaimer, I haven't really been uploading as of recent because I've been busy IRL. So I apologize, but I just want to give a big shout out before we get into this video. Of all you guys that recently subscribed. I never would have thought I saw the day that I would have gained that much subscribers over time for these two specific videos, and I really do appreciate that from my heart to yours. But without further ado, let's get started. So to get started, like the last video, what you're gonna do is you're gonna download Mumu Player for Windows, and once you actually download Mumu for Windows, it's gonna show up with this Mumu Player instance. Obviously I have 3 because, you know, the last one actually is to showcase how to download the game in the tutorial. So we're gonna actually go to the 3 dots when you create a new instance, and you're gonna go to device settings, and I'm gonna just go through this slowly so that way you guys can be able to see. Now, I know in my last video I had it set to 12 cores and 16 gigabytes of RAM, but 12 for 12 actually does just fine. It keeps the game stabilized. Obviously Vulkan, because if you use DirectX, you have graphical issues. You don't really necessarily have to assign or adjust the GPU usage, because having it auto-tune is probably for the best. Then we're going to go to display, and if you're a mouse and keyboard players, I will further link a tutorial video link to DJTICKLE's channel on the keyboard and mouse settings. But obviously keep the stuff default if you're going to be using controller, which we'll get to that. Maximum FPS, I don't think it makes much of a difference because the game is locked at a 60 FPS. I don't think it really matters whether you are using like the in-game FPS to unlock it, or at least the settings itself, but you would keep the FPS counter on. This is going to be set to 15. I would really adjust that to 60 FPS in the background in case you have something to do or whatever. Vertical sync off, you keep that off, and then everything else on. Then we're going to go to the model settings, and as I stated in the previous video, when you adjust the model settings, it's better to leave it as Samsung Galaxy S24 plus Snapdragon, because if you assign it to Asus ROG or some other particular phone, it causes issues. I've tried many times. And then you're going to go to the GPU model preset and then put it to high, you know, the setting high. And I know this is not necessarily more of an important ordeal, but make sure your gamepad is connected. The new Mumu Player with Division Resurgence actually allows you to play with a PS4 controller and a PS5 controller, and if you have trouble with that, there's another way of going about it, and I'll show it within this line too, which is DS4. And if you're not familiar with DS4, you're gonna basically download DS4, and you know, you obviously have to enable some options, install some drivers. Basically, when this prompts up, you go to settings and then hide the DS4 controller. You have to double click this twice. You have to turn it off and then turn it on. But every time that you open this particular application, it will always prompt with hide DS4 controller and work every time. That's in case you do have that particular issue. And then after you're done doing all of this, we're gonna go right into the emulator itself. Make sure that you sign in with Google, so that way you could be able to you know, because I didn't want to show my information there, because then that would have just been ridiculous and a big brain move. But as you see, Division Resurgence is there, and then you basically install it. I already have it installed, and we're gonna get into the other portion of the video because I don't want to elongate time. So we're in the game right now, and as you can tell, I'm moving my PS4 controller, I'm aiming, I'm shooting. It actually works just fine without the DS4 settings, but what I wanted to tell you ahead of time is in the tutorial, it doesn't allow you to go to the settings to change any of these things, right? You're not allowed to change any of this or whatever until after the tutorial. Also, to keep in mind that if you do have trigger problems, like if you're aiming and you're not able to shoot, it's because the tutorial is locking your controller functions until after you complete it. So if you're going through that issue during the tutorial, then fear not, just get past the tutorial and your controller will just work just fine. I've had that problem before. I thought it was a bug. It turns out you have to kind of use like the touch screen or whatever in order to bypass that. But after that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to settings, right? And you're gonna go all the way to the graphics settings. And as I stated before, the display settings, or not the display settings, the graphics settings that we assigned it to mobile player during this tutorial. What you're gonna do is, if you want high frame rate, you're gonna have to set the graphics to medium, standard resolution, because obviously it doesn't go higher than that until they fix it in the future, and then high frame rate. The shadow quality doesn't matter. I learned that when you have it set to high and then you have visual quality, it winds up crashing the game. The game crashes regardless because it's early stages, and on top of that, when you play with people in mixed areas of the country, it has a tendency of lagging. So I have the bloom, I'm gonna set that to off, auto annotation to on, dynamic resolution on. So keep those settings just in case, and you should be good to go. As far as any of the other settings, you can't control your layout because obviously you have a controller. If you want to be able to adjust these particular settings, adjust it to your liking, but that's just about it, really. Like, you can basically play this game on emulation, no problem. Also, to keep in mind is that, and this is just from my experience playing from the beta when the game came out as well too, the game is stable when you play solo. I tested this out, 7 hours playing solo and about 2 hours playing with people. Precious Cargo lags like a motherfucker. Missions with friends during Dark Soda conflict make the game crash, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching the portion of this video. I really do appreciate it. I know that like there are some areas within the tutorial that don't go into depth, but a lot of that other unnecessary detail doesn't really need to be added into the video, because this is just a really updated tutorial on how to be able to install Division Resurgence in the way that, you know, you guys could be able to enjoy it. Again, I'm going to link DJ Tickle's video in the description for those who want to play on keyboard and mouse to keybind. Shout out to him. And I just want to say from my heart to yours, as I previously stated in the beginning of the video, I really appreciate from my heart to yours all the people who recently subscribed to show support. I just want to say, for a disclaimer, I'm a retro content creator. I like to upload things like Racing with Synergy, which is a series that I created and put my heart into because, you know, I love racing games at the end of the day. You know, I don't just always play Division. I share my account between me and my nephew because my nephew has more time than me. You know, as you get older, you have a lot of responsibilities. So if you ever have the time, show some love to Racing with Synergy. That's a series that I only hope in the future, when I have more time, that I can implement more time into. But for those who are interested in more Division Resurgence content, yeah, I would really appreciate it if you know, you guys continue to show support. I really do appreciate it, again, from my heart to yours. I just want to say, before we exit and sign off, I'm going to be doing a build tutorial for those who are confused about building your class or your specialization, I main breacher, so mine is going to be more associated with breachers, but it could be universal to other specialization classes as well too. But this is Synergy signing off. Thank you so much for all the support. God bless. Peace out.